You move it on. So I did like that pick. But moving on to the second pick. Now, it's another one. It's another one of these things. Like Brad Holmes talked about the cluster. They end up trading up from pick 50 to pick 44, and they select Derrick Moore, edge out of Michigan. So, and this is another one of those things where, what do you think about that pick? I like the pick. Brad Holmes talked about the cluster. And the cluster had, like, if I'm looking at, I got PFF up right now. And I know PFF isn't the end-all, be-all of all this stuff. But if I'm looking at the edge players, you got TJ Parker was ranked 29. Zion Young is 40. Mason Thomas, 47. Cabe Yakis, 51. Malachi Lawrence, who went in the first round, at 54. Joshua Josephs at 63. Derrick Moore at 65. Sutton at 77. Romeo Height or at 67. Romeo Height at 77. When Brad Holmes was talking about the cluster, that's what he's talking about. There's a cluster of guys. So really, when you're talking, and this is overall, so from 29 to 77, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You had 10 defensive ends that were all like bunched together. So when he's talking about the pack of players, it's all about, all those guys are about the same. It just depends on what you like. What they wanted with Derrick Moore is he's 6'3". He's 260 pounds. He's a player that's gotten better every year that he's played in there. In 2025, he had a 89.9 overall PFF grade. He played 440 defensive snaps, 234 pass rush snaps, and 182 run stuffing snaps. He had 11 sacks. He had 21 pressures. He had 3 batted balls, an upgrade over Aquadine Muhammad. And Lion fan has been clamoring for the Lions to use a high pick on an edge rusher. And they traded up. Why did they trade up? That's a great question, and I'm glad that you asked. They traded up to 44. Now, they picked at 44. The Ravens picked at 45. The Ravens' new head coach, Mr. Milton, or defensive coordinator, Mr. Milton, coached Derrick Moore. The word around the campfire, and I believe it too, is they would have selected Derrick Moore at pick 45 if the Lions did not trade up. So that's the reason that they had to get ahead of the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Ravens end up taking Zion Young, which is just fine. And Yakis. Yakis would have been a good pick. I would have been happy with any of those picks in that cluster. You know, Yakis. I mean, Mason Thomas is a little undersized. Zion Young had his best season in college. That would have been a good pick too. I would have been fine with that. Joseph's was a little bit small, but I do like the pick of Derrick Moore. What did you think the Moore pick? I mean, you got all these guys in a cluster, and they could have had any one of the guys. They traded up and got the guy that they wanted. You know, there's always that talk between, oh, do I draft for need or am I drafting for best player available? What is it? Need, best player available. Need, best player available. Well, I think that if you let the draft fall to you, then you take the best player available. But if you trade up, I mean, why would you trade up? Well, I'm trading up because I have a need. Obviously, you're taking the best player available, but if you trade up, I think that you're going for the need. That's the way I say it. You trade up, you go and get your guys. And like Detroit Fan Man says, now, who did Baltimore take at 45? Zion Young. The guy who left MSU soon after his involvement in the tunnel fight. You see, the Lions value character. I'm not saying that they value it over talent, but if you got two guys that are about the same talent, which I do believe that's what it is, Zion Young, Derrick Moore, I think you could have flipped the coin. And I think that the coin flip is, I want the guy with high character. I want the captain of a defense. I want the leader of a defense in there. So, solid pick right there. You know, they only had to sacrifice a 4th round pick. You're moving up 6 spots in the 2nd round. I mean, I don't know what the draft values are or whatever. The Lions decided not to make any pick in the 3rd round. They didn't trade up. They didn't do anything more. That was the end of day 2